Hello, today, I am going to be talking about blue hives and what will happen to them after Beesmas. Before we begin, if you could please subscribe and help me get to 500 subs, I would really appreciate it. Now let's begin. Last Beesmas, blue hives were making the most honey out of all of them. This was mainly due to the buffs from Beesmas. But as soon as Beesmas ended, they were sent right to the bottom, going from trillions of honey per boost, to only a few 100 billion per boost. This Beesmas blue is back on top. I quite often see comments saying that blue will be debuffed after Beesmas and that this dominance is only for a short time. A lot of things have changed in this new Beesmas update, and in this video, I will see if blue hives will continue to thrive even after Beesmas. So with Beesmas there comes boosts. Let's go through them. Starting with the Beesmas tree boosts. Now I will only state the ones that affect blue hives. These are 350% convert rate, 5% honey per pollen, 10% pollen from bees, 20% bomb pollen, 25% bamboo field capacity, 5% pollen, 25% blue flower field capacity, 25% pine tree field capacity, 10% blue field capacity, 25% stump field capacity, 5% bee ability pollen, 20% capacity, 10% honey from tokens, 10% bubble pollen. I would reckon that would only give you an extra 5% honey on what you are already making, and also remember that I didn't state boosts that affect red and white hives only. The next item is snowflakes, which do give quite good buffs but are not permanent. They are really only helpful when you are doing a boost because of the extra capacity. If you used them throughout a boost, I would say it would again probably only give you an extra 5% honey. I don't actually know and may be completely wrong about each of these things. The next item is the Beesmas quest items like the Snow Bear Machine and Black Bear's Wreath. These give you items, but don't boost your gameplay. Now let's talk about the important and permanent buffs and items added in Beesmas. Nectar. If you're doing a boost, you're gonna always want nectar. If I'm boosting, I will always have comforting, motivating, and some satisfying nectar. Comforting and motivating can both give ×2 blue pollen, which can give about ×4 blue pollen when you have them both full. This is extremely OP. I will talk about satisfying nectar soon. Let's talk about the buoyant bee, which in my opinion, is the most OP thing in blue hives. Its two abilities are balloons and blue bomb plus. Balloons are an item that holds pollen that you have collected in a nearby area, and then after a timer it goes to your hive and all balloons and the pollen from them are put into one big balloon at your hive, which you can convert later. You can fit an infinite amount of pollen in the balloons. After you convert all of the pollen in your hive balloon, you get a balloon blessing which scales up in amount depending on how much pollen was in your hive balloon before you converted it. It gives bonus capacity and honey at hive. Popstar and Bubble Bloat have both been nerfed in this update, but because of the balloons it makes them even better than before. Let me explain. Popstar lost its 2x capacity when it's active, but because of the balloon blessing you get that capacity back, and not just for while Popstar is active, but for the whole time balloon blessing is active. Instead of the 2x capacity, Popstar now has 10% extra blue conversion, which basically is buffing it. Bubble Bloat gives extra blue field capacity and convert rate at hive, which has gone down from up to 7 times to 6. The convert rate at hive used to not be that useful, but now that there is a hive balloon it makes converting extremely faster and makes Bubble Bloat way better. Remember how I talked about nectar before? Let me tell you about satisfying nectar. The reason I use it is because it gives honey at hive. This can give you with balloon blessing as well over 2, sometimes up to 3 times honey from your balloons. The Blue Bomb Plus is very good as well. This lets you replace all your extra bubble and ninja bees with your buoyant bees and also gives you extra balloons. These buffs and things are so up that players are making trillions of honey just by macroing. So, what's going to happen after Beesmas? In my opinion, getting like 20 trillion honey a day just from macroing is insane. Blue needs to be nerfed in a way that affects grinding normally, not boosting. While boosting the best hives would probably only making about 10 trillion on a good, and that's the good players. If one decides to nerf nectar, it would affect all hives. But I don't think he will, since it's a new item and I believe he wants it to become one of the main features of game. I do wish nectar could be a bit easier to get though, and if you always have a lot of nectar, I would really appreciate it if you comment down below how you always keep so much. Tadpole bees are balanced, and even though buoyant bees are really up, they can't really be nerfed. Its balloons are balanced and are good because you can boost your honey at hive. The balloon blessing could be nerfed by reducing the honey at hive boost. The capacity in it could also be nerfed, but it isn't very up. But what does one want to do? He has said that he wants to even out all the hives. If I was him, I would buff red and white, not nerf blue, because we are coming into a new endgame stage of the game where with these new items, which are so much harder to get compared to the old endgame, items should mean so much more honeys. With items costing only billions of honey, we can make trillions of honey, so why not with this items costing trillions of honey? We should be making hundreds of trillions and quadrillions of honey. In conclusion, blue is going to be nerfed, but not as much as last Beesmas. This nerf, I believe, will put blue hives with red and whites. Red and white hives definitely should be buffed. This is the way it should, hive colors balanced. But whatever one it decides to do, it will be good. Just please give us Beesmas Part 2 already. We are already 40 days out of the 60 done.